Today, we are reviewing one of the most disturbing documents found in the Epstein files. It is a formal letter sent in 2020 to a U.S. attorney, written by a law firm on behalf of a victim and a respected clinical psychologist. The document lays out detailed allegations, references to photographic material, and specific locations and individuals that investigators were urged to verify. What makes this document especially troubling is how detailed and specific the claims are. Who sent the letter? The letter was sent to Audrey Strauss, who was serving as a U.S. attorney at the time. It was written on behalf of Marsh Law Firm and Dr. Joanna Silberg, a psychologist internationally known for her work with severe childhood trauma and dissociation. According to the letter, Dr. Silberg had been working with a woman who reported that she had been abused as a minor in circumstances connected to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Allegations described. The document states that much of the abuse described was violent and sadistic in nature. The victim is described as articulate, with the ability to recall events in clear detail, particularly those that allegedly occurred in New York City. Her statements, according to the letter, appeared to be supported by documents and photographs she provided to her therapist. Travel records and timeline. The letter explains that the victim traveled to New York with her parents and brother shortly after a specific birthday. According to the allegations, the victim reports being abused by these caregivers and later being brought to gatherings involving wealthy individuals. She describes being taken to what she referred to as a fancy rich house in Manhattan, where abuse allegedly continued. The document suggests that this location matches the known description of Epstein's Manhattan residence. Description of the Manhattan property. The victim described the house as a large, white multi-story mansion near Central Park, with distinctive architectural features such as statues above the doors, a large chandelier, and rooms filled with photographs of influential people. Media descriptions of Epstein's mansion closely match this account, including artwork and unusual decor. Individuals described. The victim described a man she heard being called Jeffrey, who wore suits and at other times a towel. She also described a woman who appeared to be in a position of authority, tall, thin, well-dressed, and speaking with a British accent, who allegedly instructed girls on how to interact with men. The letter alleges that younger girls were treated differently from older girls, and that they were placed in separate rooms. Alleged coercion and threats. The document further states that years later, after the victim began opening up to a therapist, she allegedly began receiving images on her phone depicting abuse. She believed these images were sent as threats, intended to silence her or cause emotional harm. Dr. Silberg reportedly recognized the material as illegal and immediately turned it over to the appropriate authorities, following mandatory reporting laws. Image review and location clues. 2 images were described in the letter as having been reviewed before being handed to investigators. One image allegedly showed a room with a turquoise couch and a window, overlooking light-colored buildings and trees, details that the victim believed matched the Manhattan mansion. Only non-explicit portions of the images were referenced in the letter. One of the most troubling aspects of this document is that it raises serious unanswered questions. If these communications existed, where are the digital records? Were subpoenas issued for phone data or messages? Why were certain individuals never arrested or publicly charged? These are questions the letter urges investigators to examine closely. Closing. This document does not claim guilt. It presents allegations supported by documents, descriptions, and material that investigators were asked to verify. It stands as one of the most disturbing pieces within the Epstein files and highlights how much remains unresolved. If you are covering this story, it requires careful handling, sensitivity, and respect for victims, because behind every document is a real person.